I would say lately I feel great. I feel like I have a clear direction finally. This hasn't always been the case, but lately I've just been kind of stuck into training, which is keeping me sane. So I'm doing good. Well, so I think when I was young, the whole MMA, that wasn't even a thing, right? Like I'm from Romania. I remember I loved martial arts as a kid. Like I used to watch Jackie Chan and what have you. And way before I knew how to fight, I would just shadowbox in my room for hours, just like moving around. I had a lot of energy. My dad actually did a bit of martial arts, but whenever I kind of said I wanted to do that as a kid, he was like, I'll teach you. Like, I wanted to go to a proper gym. I didn't just want to do like katas and what have you, like, right? And then I did a bunch of sports. My last one before Muay Thai was like dirt bike racing.
Okay.
But obviously that costs a lot of money. I don't come from a family with money, so I just wanted something that where I can test myself and I can, and it doesn't really cost a lot of money. Also don't like team sports much. I like to sort of like just depend on just on myself. So I think I watched, what was it? I watched a fight of Workout. Well, a couple. I watched a few fights of Workout and I realized that he was standing out. He was fighting obviously in K1 and he just had a whole different thing going on compared to all his opponents. And that kind of drew me into it. And I was about 15, actually maybe like 16, 17. And I was like, I'm old enough. I'm just gonna look up a Muay Thai gym and bite the bullet. KO was the first one that came up and yeah, just joined. It felt proper. Well, my very first session, I showed up late. I was meant to be back in like youth because I was 17. I showed up to an adults class, but I just got stuck right in and it was chaotic good. I liked it and it felt proper. I didn't know enough about martial arts, but I didn't really know what is like I knew there was kind of like more Bushido martial arts, right? And I wanted something kind of like serious. Yeah. And it had that vibe from the beginning, like just obviously the arches and what, like it's a very rocky, gritty kind of feel that KO has. So I loved it. I knew this was gonna be a place that would test me. I felt like I could potentially get good at this on a physical level, but I was very out of my depth. I think especially mentally, it was very different.
Were you physically quite fit at that time?
No, but I was quite flexible. The kicks came somewhat naturally because I used to do, I did ballroom dancing for 6 years. So
right.
The flexibility was there, just without any direction. Yeah, I didn't get to feel ready. I was in the youth class, maybe a month in, and then Crew Bill just sort of walks around to kind of like scout who's gonna go to, I believe it was Shin Kick in the club.
Okay.
And didn't speak much English at the time, mind you. He just comes up to me and he goes, "You wanna do an interclub?" I didn't really know what that was. So I was like, yes, sure. And then showed up. I remember that morning watching loads of like Sancho videos thinking, this is my time, I'm gonna go in there and just like put it on. I got my ass handed to me. But I just kept coming. I was like, this is kind of cool. I'm not very good at it, but let me just keep going. I think the main thought process was, as I said, that morning I was really hyping myself up. I thought it was gonna go well. So when it didn't, the expectations were so different from the outcome. I was like, I gotta try this again. Surely I can't be that delusional. That, the outcome was so different from what I was expecting. So I was like, I need to do this again and again until it feels good. I need to have one ring experience where I'm like, even 50% as good as what I was imagining myself to be, what I was hoping myself to look like. So my first couple of years, I was very sort of wishy-washy. I was doing it for a bit, taking some time off, coming back to the gym. I always kind of had it in the back of my mind I wanted to get really good at Muay Thai because I always watched, from the beginning, I was into Golden Era Muay Thai. So I watched that for fun, even when I wasn't training. But I would say it took me a couple of years to actually go from just wanting to be good at Muay Thai to actually putting in the work that will make me good at Muay Thai. So it was an immediate process. I was in a good place. I was like 17, just started out. I was young enough to sort of like be good. And then a few years go by, I'm like 19, 20, and I'm still saying to myself, like, I'm gonna do Muay Thai, I wanna be pro. But I wasn't really putting in the work. And I think at the same time, there was a couple of kids from the gym actually coming up. And they went from, Dorian is a good example. He went from just being a shy kid, came into the gym, he would get thrown around a little bit. He stuck to it for a few years. He's training with Martin from Peru. And he was handing his ass to me in sparring, and I was like, there is no way. I just wasted all that time. And then these kids, they put in the work for a few years, and look what they got. I was like, I need to do something, or I need to change sports, basically, or aspirations in life. So I had 2 fights. That wasn't in the clubs. I had 2 fights. One of them, I got a run through. Second one wasn't too bad, but I was just outskilled. And again, I wasn't sort of like putting my heart into it. And then I had a big break, got better. And then it was actually literally the end of last year. It was the end of last year. It was in December, Muay Thai royalty. I trained for a while, got better. I was kind of serious. And I felt good in the ring. I actually enjoyed it. And I did all my techniques. I enjoyed it. I was like, let's go again. And from that fight on, in the last, 10 months now? I've had 6 fights in 10 months.
6 fights.
So I was just like, the switch, it took ages, but the switch was finally on. I think there's way more discipline. Even in that fight, I was not entirely comfortable with the actual act of being in the ring. I was like, I know I'm good at this in the gym. Can I actually translate those skills to the ring? I did it, but I wasn't fully confident. I feel like each fight I've sort of accepted and sort of like just taken on the idea that I am a fighter and I actually enjoy it. I used to sort of like separate the fighting from the training, love the training, but sort of didn't switch on in the fight. I was still kind of afraid of it, but now I'm way more sort of like in my element. And obviously, technically, I've definitely stepped up a few levels. They can see that I'm driven, so I think that's the biggest thing for them. They know that it's good for me. So yeah, they don't come to watch the fights, but they support it.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
My friends can't really quite believe it. I've always been kind of scrawny, so like they probably think I just do some sort of like karate, kata, kind of like, but.
Your next fight, you said you got a fight on the 25th of October.
Yes, sir.
So who are you fighting?
Rafi.
Okay.
Yeah. Couple of people there's a few people I know, both of us, and they kept saying to me that we should fight, that would be a good fight, sort of from like last year, November. I think there was this one show where I was meant to fight as well. I had a pull-out, literally on the weigh-in day. And he ended up, I'm not sure if he stepped out or if he was just like already matched. And I watched him fight then and I was like, yeah, that could be good. Haven't watched much of his fights, but he looks kind of slick. He looks, as in, he likes to move around and stuff, and he's got sort of like, I would say we both like to sort of be tricky and do like creative stuff. So I like those kind of fights the most. Whereas, yeah, I like that kind of energy. I think that's gonna be recently, especially since fighting in Thailand. I've just come back from Thailand. I've kind of classified fights in a few different brackets in my head, because there were fights that were gonna grow me, but not because they were gonna make me grow, not because they were fun fights in my eyes, but because it was something difficult. Like, for example, someone being quite aggressive, someone being sort of a style that I know is gonna challenge me to grow. Yep. And I'll definitely take something away from that. So there's those kind of fights, and then you've got fights that I see as fun. When someone has like a similar style to me or similar pace, I know we're gonna sort of be exchanging kicks and blocks and have that sort of Muay Thai, traditional Muay Thai pace. And those are fun. Maybe not so much growth, but I think you feel like a big deal over there, right? As in just everything is so much more on such a bigger scale. I fought Raja Damlan twice, Raja knockout, so it's not that hard to get on there. But it's still it's a big place, right?
It's an experience.
It's a big venue, loads of lights. They got beer on tap and what have you. There's a lot of eyes on you, and it's a high quality event. So it felt good. It felt like a main event. It feels good. I know I want to get to fight at least at that sort of level and on that kind of scale here as well. And then obviously when I go back there, so I want my career to be sort of like close to main events, in the limelight always. I want to keep that on the same level, I guess. Just keep churning them out. You can't beat fight experience. If there's one thing I learned being in Thailand with all them boys, I mean, there was 12-year-olds with 50 fights, there was 18-year-olds with 200 fights. They just kept doing it. There's no better way to train fight skills than to just keep fighting.
Okay.
Do not take it too seriously. I think that was the biggest thing. Win or lose, they fight again next month, rather than putting all that pressure and then you're kind of scared of doing it because there's so much. Every single time I fought, I had the biggest lessons for my next couple of months of training, for my next fight. So it's just invaluable. You can't really beat fight experience. And for me, I would say the biggest thing, my biggest struggle is actually taking the skills I have in the gym and being able to apply them in a high pressure environment. You got so many eyes on you when you got, obviously, someone's actually trying to hurt you. And that's when I get a bit stiff. So I reckon the more I do it, the more I'm just gonna be able to like live in the fire and enjoy it. So yeah, win or lose, I just wanna keep on fighting. I think you got loads of heads, definitely enough to be able to find the right sparring partner, whatever size or experience you might be. Me and Bradley were quite close in terms of our vision of Muay Thai. We kind of look up to the same fighters, we enjoy the same things, so that feels good, you know, showing up and knowing that it's almost like, obviously he's the head of the gym in terms of the training these days. So it feels like the gym's direction sort of overlaps with my direction in Muay Thai. So yeah, it makes me feel like I get the kind of training I enjoy as well.
You're in a good place.
Definitely. So obviously, Thailand, all fights are A-class, and I absolutely loved it. And I did say, as soon as I'm back in the UK, my only criteria would be making sure I'm matched with somebody with somewhat similar experience. I was ready to fight A-class now, so it just feels real, right? I want to get as much experience fighting the real deal. Obviously, in the UK, by the time you get to A-class, you kind of have a number of fights. But as long as I can fight somebody that has similar experience and they want to go full pro rules, I'm down even now. But in terms of inspiration, what sort of like gets me energized and it looks fun, obviously golden era. I'll probably say my favorite of all time is Karohat Sorsupawan. I've met him, he actually stayed at the gym at Samart's where I was for 3 months. So he was there every single day. I was starstruck. And they're so casual about it, they don't have no ego. So people like Karohat, obviously Samart's, he was there every day. He's an absolute legend. Best of all time in Thailand, they say. Nam Kabun, he passed away a while ago. They changed the plowing rules because of him. Because he used to throw people out the ring with the plow, the catch in the plow. There's so many names from the golden era. I just really enjoy that sort of like slickness that they had. It was.
What was that like as an experience?
A lot of pinching myself, definitely. It was a process. In the first few days, I didn't really know how to act around them because they're so casual about it, right? Like there's no superstar status, but they're just there in your face. There was obviously it's Samar's house and gym. What's his name? Somrak was their Olympic gold medalist. Karohat, and then you had random drop-ins just for a game of poker and a beer every single week. Sometimes the more time you spend there, you kind of forget who they are because they just look like an old guy in their 60s just having a beer and playing some poker or some chess. They're so casual about it.
Yeah.
But it really, I never, in those 3 months, I was never not super interested about Muay Thai because you're literally in probably the best place when it comes to like just geeking out about Muay Thai. So it always kept me engaged, I always loved it. How to make the most? No one, I'm kidding. I would say again, I think the fact that me and Bradley kind of looked up to the same people in terms of the passion for Muay Thai, it felt like that's a path, and it felt like I had some, because obviously traditional Muay Thai these days is kind of obscure. It's not really in the limelight. Not many people know about it. So in terms of passion, it was really nice to be able to align in terms of what we look up to. And just everyone I train with, there's a lot of people, kind of like what Ronnie mentioned, people like Zishan and Mohsin and Ronnie himself that are kind of KO veterans. And even though they had their own fights and their own jobs and what have you, they still put in time to sort of like raise the newbies, if you will. Even though they didn't gain much out of it, they definitely gave me a lot of their time when I couldn't sort of like return the favor. So yeah, definitely thanks to them.
Listen, Dragos, it was nice talking to you.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you
And
so much.
I look forward to your fight on the 25th.
So
Look forward
do
to
I.
seeing you grow as well and seeing you on the circuit. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Cheers, man. Thanks.